Sunday, April 12th, 8:44 p.m. What's up, everybody? We're getting ready for the trading week to open tomorrow. I have not done a video or an update as of Friday, what would have been the 10th, I think. Yeah, Friday the 10th. I did not do a video or entry at all. So I did shift a little bit of things. We are currently looking at SanDisk. We are still short 4 shares. We are still down about $800. All things SanDisk, 788 currently, or 781 currently. But regardless, this is not going so hot. Like we said, we were going to wait till 850 to add, and then we added a 800. But kind of weathering the storm here. Anything above 1,000, we'll start to consider putting on a hedge, just a call option for any sort of blowout or extreme appreciation to hedge any sort of further appreciation. Still the medium term perspective, kind of around the summertime. I'm expecting a retracement off of the earnings on SanDisk, kind of similar to Micron, but just following the price action and managing whatever comes at us. So looking to add one more share, but wouldn't do so until 1,000 or higher, especially since we just said that at 800 for 850 and did it at 800. And so again, like I said, we've closed out. So I did, like I said, I didn't do an update on Friday, but CF, we were up again a total of about, you can see right here, $494, so right around $500. So I did probably about midday on Friday, decided to close the rest of CF. Kind of just, I don't even want to say intuition, because now at 8:45 p.m. on Sunday, we know that the Iran talks and negotiations in Pakistan between J.D. Vance and the Iranian regime, or whoever's in charge, was still up in the air. So it was about 50-50 of, is this going to go well and solidify this ceasefire, or are we going to have more turmoil? So as of now, we've gotten more turmoil, but when I closed the position, we were just up $500. SanDisk was going against us, so it made sense to secure the profits. And so we've locked in, again, in this trading log from American Eagle over to here, again, right around $2,000 in profit, and we're sitting unrealized losses about $800 on SanDisk. And so this has gone clearly higher than I thought it would have. That's why, again, but overall, the entry price of 702, 703, again, like I said, I'm overall decently happy with it. I mean, it's at the higher level of this channel. Again, if it would have gone to the downside, we'd be like, yay, awesome. But we're going to weather the storm a little bit. Nothing really proprietary. Again, the only number or metric that just got me like, is the overall market capitalization is nothing ridiculous in compared to, mega cap stocks. But it's not a mega cap company. It's not nothing proprietary, not a huge pipeline of products. But certainly memory is really hot right now. Just expecting any sort of break in the news cycle, not a missed earnings, but just any sort of decrease in this overall momentum in the sector. Again, kind of expecting this to go into summer, but we'll just manage it as it comes at us. But regardless, closed out the CF at 500 profit, reducing our overall short exposure. We'll look to short again. The current bid is at 126 as the bid and 126.80 as the ask. But we'll let the market open. This thing has been trading super weak, just kind of some sort of appreciation in the morning. Again, without this was the big ceasefire day. And so anything above 130 here, we'll take a position. Anything above 135, we'll go a little heavier. And again, looking for the short side and any appreciation of this. Hey, we're going to have further turmoil in Iran, expecting this to appreciate. And then any sort of, again, you have some sort of stimulus. The peace talks don't go well. You're always kind of anticipating, again, the reverse stimulus. So now, still don't think this conflict's going to last that long. Again, whatever there's going to be an inevitable event in the future where, hey, we have a stronger ceasefire or some sort of resolution again. So do I want to try to play the short-term appreciation or just reposition again for the whatever the resolution is? And I'm going to position for whatever the resolution is. If we have big drawdowns tomorrow or any sort of drawdowns, I will add a little more to these income funds, the QQI and SPYI. Maybe look, there's some other comparable ones for other things. Maybe look for another one, maybe not. Because they've reacted well just following the underlying indice pretty steadfast. So feeling pretty good about the overall, any sort of, because we went down, upwards of like $800 of depreciation on QQI. Even with this retracement right now, just 270. SPYI was basically back to even. And so they had good resiliency following the underlying. So feeling pretty good here. Yeah. And so SanDisk, again, we're having overall market pressure. Again, it's not, we're just kind of reacting to the futures overseas right now. Not really. We'll check back in the morning. But obviously SanDisk has to go up a little bit when the overall market's getting pushed down. But we'll see in the morning. Because overall we'd been doing pretty good. Now it's just like, don't want to get underwater here, but what are you going to do? And so that's kind of our management. I'll do the politics in another video. But again, I just wanted to emphasize when I closed on Friday, the sentiment of my feeling, at least personally, and what it seemed to be throughout the talk on CNBC and just the news cycle in general was pretty 50-50. And so definitely there will certainly be some sort of, again, another resolution announcement, something. And so for SanDisk continue, it's like, okay, if we have this further, another week of turmoil or another 2 weeks or another month or whatever, and this doesn't get any depreciation, and then we get an overall market announcement, then we have a big ripping day, it's like, oh, this is definitely going to rip definitely more. And so that's fun. Again, not dollar figures I would even take out of the account, but if we would have made $2,000 extra, again, we still might. I mean, just managing the trade, but maybe get like an electric bike or something. I don't know. But regardless, that's what's going on for our management and our exposure. To our talking points from Friday, we had one guy in the morning, Adam Back, say he is not the Satoshi Nakamoto after suspicious email data were uncovered. So I have no personal insight into who it actually is. Again, I might know somebody with a little more Bitcoins than people know about, but that's a story for another time. And so I've never heard of this Adam Back guy. I actually don't know I don't even know what these emails you're referencing are. But I think it was some English chap just got out of Greg's and he was like, nope, not Satoshi Nakamoto. But that guy was on there and we were talking about that. Closed CF for the weekend. I had that written down. We just talked about that. But we had some biological science in the trading news cycle. We had a pancreatic cancer drug show a 13% 5-year survival rate. And I just have, oh golly willikers, the progress. And so that's another thing. Again, the academic structure, everyone's committing fraud, racketeering, and conspiracy. This triangle of academic institutions, the validation of the FDA approvals, and the quote-unquote scientific standard of analysis of scientific proof of the pharmaceutical science environment in general is atrociously fraudulent and egregiously detrimental to all of society. And so it's an absolutely abysmal joke when you're saying, again, these drugs with like a laundry list of side effects, and it's like, oh yeah, right, the current standard is 13% for a 5-year survival rate, and they're literally talking about getting the approvals. They just need to show it, quote unquote, being effective as is being a higher percentage than what's the current standard of like 13%. Insanely, it's just so weird. Like here in Columbus, Ohio, we have a local newscaster, Marshall McPeak. He takes some time off of his job to go get chemotherapy. And again, as the scientist who has proven and demonstrated the completeness of analysis, which again is a level of scientific, it is the highest level of science you could ever do objectively. And I'm over here like, okay, I'm suing and criminally prosecuting everybody that is, again, violating the law, which then subsequently doesn't allow the validation of the science, which prescribed cannabis for cancer is the most direct, immediate treatment there is. It is safe. It is profoundly effective. It is proven. I have demonstrated it, so on and so forth. That's not remotely a question. There is no discussion to be had. Anybody, again, violating the law, suppressing scientific information, or lying about history to any capacity is being criminally prosecuted. And so, again, this relationship between the FDA, the academic institutions giving medical degrees, and diet registered nurses and just all of this absolute hierarchical bullshit, and then everyone's incompetent. And nobody has ever, again, what is math? What is physics? We have no idea of anything. But we're absolutely certain those emergent phenomenon or ontological sections, biology, chemistry, we know how all of those work. And again, it's provable. Your insecurity saying, oh my gosh, I don't like cannabis, that is provable that it's just insecurity. There was no scientific validity to it. And again, I'm not asking. You guys are just continuing to kill, maim, and deform a bunch of people because you will not admit. Tell the truth. You guys are just scientifically illiterate, you're privileged and you're incompetent, and you do not have to take responsibility for the consequences of your actions. And so you can just see that with, again, what the standard is to get this new pancreatic drug approved. It's like because people are giving credence in validation to the quote-unquote hard work of becoming a medical professional. Again, I will individually, personally challenge the entire medical community. You put me in a room and you take your best surgeons, whoever, and we will just discuss medicine and science, and we will see who has the credentials to discuss anything. And then, again, above that, there is proof. And at a societal, institutional level, you guys don't know what proof is, clearly, demonstrably at all. And so this is a point in society when you're supposed to have the people that are actually demonstrated competence in a place where it's like, hey, this is what you do. But you guys will continue to lie, cheat, and steal, and subsequently cause more death and destruction than every war that's ever been existent at once. Again, not validating fundamental science for the progress of medicine, for the progress of healthcare, for the progress of understanding biological function could not be more direct to we're committing crimes, there's death and destruction, and, well, we just don't think so, we don't care, and that's just what it is. And so as a scientific standard, that's atrocious. Again, I'm going to go over my blood work, just another kind of thoughts about discussion about topics in biological science, medicine. But this 5-year survival rate, 13%, and the drug is quote-unquote effective if it just shows some sort of, again, life progression past that. It's just an abysmal joke, man. But that was just what was there for this pancreatic drug. There was an Indian guy named Praveet, which is actually kind of hilarious. He just said the risk of stupid is rising, and then he kind of like laughed at his own statement because he's like being serious, but you just say that in like a professional context. That's your genuine thesis. It's like it just strikes people as funny, like laughing at his own joke. And so another important talking point I just have is Seema Modi related to the Prime Minister of India, the host on CNBC. So that was another, again, really important talking point is, again, all the ethnicities of all the hosts. Again, we're trying to improve our racism to make sure we can say the right races and the right ethnicities. But the Praveet saying the risk of stupid is rising made me chuckle, and it made himself chuckle, which was kind of funny. And so another thing, again, another point that I've hammered home a bunch, Frank Holland's on there. Again, another, like, people that kind of sub in there, again, more of my opinions that don't matter at all, but I'm going to give them to you anyway. Like Frank Holland, again, another host and subs in for like the head anchor position sometimes. He's all right. Another one's like Leslie Picker. She subs in about the same level of just like, they need to have a little more like of their own understanding or own analysis presented as hosts, but they're all right. Again, just people that pop up on CNBC. But Frank says, is that the bottom? And he's talking about, again, this relief we had in Thursday into Friday after this, 5 weeks of war depreciation, specifically over the past like 3 weeks or whatever. And so it's like, I'm just over here like, Frank, dude, the bottom of what? The S&P, let's just look at that. Okay, let's go to 20 years. Where's the bottom? It looks like the bottom was back here in 2009, bro. And so my point is like, again, outside of like 3 years, and again, people function on these, your biological cycles, like your expectation, again, of having a return as an investment, about 3 years, I'd say would be industry standard. But when he just says the bottom, is it a local bottom, or is it a local minimum, or a global minimum? Again, for my 20-year chart, Frank, the bottom is $67. But again, emphasizing that Frank's mind is like there's a relevant time frame of what the bottom would be. Like this again, sentiment which contains time frames to price action relationship. Our host Frank is even saying, is the bottom in, meaning the short term bottom, potentially, a medium to long term bottom where the S&P just never gets back to this level, or the Dow Jones or whatever indice you're looking at. But it's just again a good point to emphasize. We see that these time frames are inherent. Frank had just said, "Is this the bottom?" It's like clearly he's talking about this short term horizon. And so those were our talking points again over the weekend. Going into the weekend, we did not have. Oh goodness, I might have not been talking into my microphone. Oh well, nobody watches these, and if you do, you're watching with headphones or actually listening. But so the audio might be not too great on this one. I've done that a couple times on these, but what are you gonna do? And so, we will see where this opens up in the morning. Again, not looking good, man. We were on such a little roll. And still, this is, like I said, this is my only conviction, is that this is some sort of, it's certainly cyclical. I mean, that's pretty established. There's not a lot of proprietary stuff. The overall dollar figure is not that much, but it's just like, we're on a little roll, and what is this thing still going up for? But good to point out, though, like when you're on the opposite side of momentum, we're short, it's going up. You're just sitting here. There was another meme posted on StockTwits that was actually kind of funny. And it was like a guy celebrating, like he was like making fun of himself, demonstrating self-awareness. He was like, the meme was, it was a bear dancing. It was like me when SanDisk goes down $3 after market after going up 10% the same day. Meaning like it appreciates like $80 and then he's excited about just $3 going down. But really what you're excited about or what you're feeling is just the reversal of momentum. If it's just not going up anymore, you're like, okay, like by the point that you're still in the stock, it's like you can handle whatever price level you're at. And so I even had like a thought, or I don't think I wrote it down, but for trying to define when capitulation happens, anybody that's in a trade that goes in the opposite direction, you have that feeling like, okay, like we're over here talking. The overall dollar figure is not great. Above $1,000 would probably put on some sort of hedge, call option, buy it, try to make some money on it. Or again, we'll just have to see the prices, because if again it's like, we have 4 shares, each $100 a share increases, that's $400. And so, maybe we put $200 in some sort of, again, the strike to time frame is what we would assess. Just to preserve any sort of blow off top or continued appreciation to the upside, or anything we would depreciate on the stock position, we would make back or more on the options position, while maintaining the position short overall. And so we'll see about that in the morning. I just don't know how this is where we're like 2,800% in like a year, which is kind of crazy. But back to capitulation, trying to get some sort of working definition. It's just when you go from by the fact that you haven't closed the position, you're tolerating, it's within your risk tolerance. A position going against whatever direction you have. And then capitulation is just when everyone decides like it's too much, and they all decide that at the same exact time, where you just go from, okay, I'm definitely losing, I'm not super excited, but now it's like, okay, I'm just one out, and that's when capitulation happens. Just a thought, again, all of these economics principles and stuff is super just, it's not rigorous in the way all of science solved on the internet is, which still remains just a wonder and an absolute head scratcher that there's not one decent person out there in the world that has a family, that has academic success, that has health care. Again, we just watched the Masters. Again, Scotty Scheffler's like 3 or 4 years younger than me. And it's like he's got his nice, beautiful wife. He's got his young kids. He's making millions of dollars. And then he's going to show up the next weekend and have the opportunity to make more millions of dollars. And then by, tomorrow at 9 a.m., his endorsement deals, there's going to be a direct deposit. And so it's just astounding to me that there's actually people out there in the world that get to live lives, that get to work. And again, you see how much output I'm putting out. It's not like solving all of science eating up my brain power. It's not like I'm not putting out, again, running 3 or 4 different like active video content things all at the same time. And it's just, there's never a point in time when Brad gets to participate in the world. And so we're doing the best we can over here. Again, waiting. I'll put out a video on April 15th explicitly for the tax day. Again, I do not have constitutional rights. The amount of financial damages that I've lost is tremendous and profound. And I just sit over here. Like, again, a good chunk of this money would have been put into these income funds to, again, I could give myself a $50,000 income with very little like depreciation risk and effectively none over like 3 years, and which I would have already done yesterday. But again, I get some sort of letter in the mail. Hey, you sold a house. Hey, you sold cryptocurrency. Where's your taxes? What the fuck do I write? Hey guys, I lived at apartments where I have terabytes of data of an intelligence agency that you've never seen on the TV before that has more authority than any president, and they're living right next to me, and they're saying we can do whatever we want. And I'm just like, hey guys, like, can I just like have a little bit of money to eat properly, sleep properly, and work? And that's not an exaggeration. Each time I try to go to sleep, I cannot sleep for more than 3 hours at a time. Every single time. I've not eaten a meal naturally since I tried to date in high school, and it was treated like throwaway garbage. I haven't. And so it's just like, I am over here truly not having the capacity to satisfy basic biological function, and I'm watching people younger than me, again, perform at the top of their game and get to live their lives to the fullest. And I'm just over here like, honestly, can I just have enough money to buy food at the grocery store? To pay bills comfortably, to eat properly, to sleep properly, and to work is a level of life I have never experienced. I have no expectation it will ever happen. And then I sit over here and try to do stocks, and it's just like, you go up $2,000 and then just this shit. And it's just like, but this, like I said, this is, again, exemplification of damages. I have been doing this for 10 years, and you can't meaningfully trade stocks without a risk tolerance. And so, again, having to sell my Bitcoin under duress without being able to hold it again with it articulated perspectives of 10 years, documented contractually, and then, nope, Brad doesn't have rights, and then, well, we're not going to treat Brad as a professional adult, and then I lose out on $4 million, actually. And so, but then I've lost, again, 10 years of income, which, again, if what is my damages? Is like, it's truly just, if I get a letter from the IRS, I'll just have to say a number like, I guess I would just probably ask for like a do not contact, do not try to collect, hey, this is an active legal situation of criminal charges that I'm trying to prosecute against the government, right? And I've already been attempted to be extorted by the state of Colorado, which, fun fact, here's another one word form that I'm sure you idiots probably haven't seen yet or thought about. What is extortion? Extort. Right? Tort law is punitive damages for someone wronging you. Extortion is the opposite of that. So that was another fun one that just popped up. But I am being extorted. Again, I'm the victim of fraud, racketeering, conspiracy at a level where it's just, what do I do? And just nobody cares. Everyone's 14. Nobody has any morals. I'm in a community with no values. I have no idea what to do. So I would just ask for like a stay or do not contact, do not collect. Here is the legal proceedings I've tried to do. Here's literally 1,600 videos documenting damages in real time. Are you going to spend the resources to try to like? They would have. I mean, these would be exhibits, like things you would enter into court. But I don't have access to court. I mean, there'd be like thousands of people I would be suing already, and so it's just like, is there anybody out there with any decency whatsoever? And the answer is no. And it's just always been this way. My life is just no one gives a fuck about Brad. And I just don't know like how you like get out of it. But regardless, that's our positioning. That's what's going on. We'll see how this works out in the morning. And we'll check back in. So that's what I got for you today. See you tomorrow. Monday, April 13th, 10:12 a.m. What's up, traders? As we can see, the market is now open. We are watching our profits evaporate for the start of the year, which is now getting close to halfway through the year. So this is always fun stuff. Again, not having constitutional rights, trying to make money. Again, we've been following this stock for like 4 months. We have 4 whole shares. Again, our position size is big enough to be a something. Couple $100 to the downside gives us 500 to 1,000. Couple $100 to the upside gives us the opposite. And so, no real prospectus on here. Was looking at some options. Again, if it gets above 1,000, looking towards a hedge. But the option prices are just so expensive. The spreads are so large. What I'll probably do is just take the loss and close probably 2 shares around 1,000 if it gets up to there. But again, it's just kind of like holding out. It's like, how high does it go? Because again, for the time frame on this bad boy, I just don't see it. Again, the summertime is kind of like when I was thinking it was going to break down. I didn't really, I thought the 1250 is like insane high number. We just kind of keep just going up. And so again, just not fun, but that is what we're looking at here on our screen. And so CF, we talked about, again, this will be at the backside of a clip from yesterday. Probably won't re-enter here short unless, again, above the 130, but just more of an intuitive response to the news cycle on the Iran conflict. And so regardless, though, with the SanDisk going in the opposite direction, not feeling too hot about, again, trading anything. Because, again, my personal perspective is take small positions. If we get a little cushion going, trade a little more. That's where we're at right now. Again, we've been extremely conservative, extremely diligent in trying to, again, there's only so much risk tolerance. I mean, you have to have a risk tolerance to be able to lose some money on certain trades, or you can't trade meaningfully. And so, again, it's always fun. Again, I don't have constitutional rights. My entire life is ruined, and that's just what's going on. I keep trying to produce content. I keep trying to get into the world. I keep trying to be a businessman. I keep trying to be a scientist, all of these things. And my actual day-to-day life boils down to watching this bullshit jiggle around, and you can't control it. There's nothing you can do. And it's just fun. No matter how hard you work in the United States of America, you can never actually have a career and a family. While people who cheated through every bit of school, lied, cheat, steal, and then their parents' friends get them a job. It's always fun. It's always fun stuff. But regardless, took a little more on Joby. Again, really, it's just I'm not really, again, I take one or two trades at a time. I only take things I have conviction on. The overall, again, the market positioning right now is just nothing for me in terms of we're not in a raging bull market. I don't see any good economic stimulus. And we're at, again, now going on, into the fourth year, 3 months of gains or whatever. And so same overall perspective on the market. Just not happy with this SanDisk. I just don't know what to do. Because this is the only thing I had any conviction on going down. And then if I just close it, we'll still be up. Again, what was it? I think $2,000 from the CF and from the American Eagle trade. And we're down about right around 900 here on the year. Yeah, 916. We were up 150 on the year to down 915 in like 2 weeks on this stupid. Again, I was actually kind of happy with my entry. The 704, chilling up here, higher end of this range. Again, now what level of percentage increase? But regardless, the typical dynamics still play out. Again, not looking to close anything in this morning. 9:30 to 10, the Gucci main hour, 10:17. Don't know how he's got robbed, so I don't know if that's a good hour to sell or not sell out at this point. But with the overall volume, and again, Monday and in the morning, not a time to close. We'll see how it opens up or continues on. And for the biggest, again, management now is just, I think, not even going to try to hedge. Because, again, it's just always, you look at these big spread options, and it's like, okay, if I'm looking at April 24th, 26th, and it's like you want to buy, again, right around the strike where it's like, if it's above here, you're hedging this price level. And so you're looking at like, and then if these go to zero, you're looking at it to get another $640 just to have one. Or I think it's again, I don't even trade options. I think that may be 6,000. I think it's 6,400 because it's one options contract is 100 shares. And so these are just, that would be $6,700. So it's just like, then if you don't do it right, then you lose money on your quote unquote hedge and your base position. I think the biggest thing for me, if I decide that the risk tolerance or if we've lost too much, is just to close the position or to decrease the size to half, 2 shares or 1 share. Regardless, still holding for now. Just that's the thought process. Super bummer. Again, we were up $2,000. This would have put another, again, if this would have went in our direction, to a position where, again, we might right around the level where it's like I take a little bit of money out and buy a nice, an electric bike or camping equipment or something another. But regardless, obviously the world never works out for me as I'm going on 33 years of age this year at my parents' house with literally contractually owed $25 million of just, it says, you solve this problem, you get this money. That has been done for 10 years. The actual income potential that I've lost, again, by not having my credentials validated, is profoundly tremendous. Then I can pop on and show you a Kevin Gates song that says, King B, I bought you a chain and they're making it rain on you. Can I just have a little bit of money to manage this fucking shit trade so I can have a little bit of a life? And the reality is, again, as I say every single day, absolutely nobody cares. I live in an environment where the quote-unquote adults are mentally 14 years of age. They've done nothing in their entire existence besides compete over nothing. That competition is now careers, and you can actually have family and a portfolio, but at the same time, you still don't know how to manage money. And so then your little petulant 14-year-old behavior still says, me, 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 me. That's the entire baby boomer generation. And then you can't have a life. Like, I've done nothing besides go above and beyond what society has asked of me at every point in my existence. And it's just like, can I walk into a grocery store right now and comfortably buy food? No. Can I go to school? No. Can I develop any sort of property at all? No. Can I even sit here again with the money I have? This would be on income funds. I say it every single day. And I would go camping and have a little bit of a life experience. But nope, I have to sit here because the IRS is going to try to extort me. And if it doesn't, I just sit here and rot in this damage anyway. Because again, the United States of America remains the shittiest country that has ever existed. And I really want to emphasize it's the quote-unquote average hardworking American that is the absolute bane to this fucking existence. All of the people that are just smile and wave and hold the door open for you, then if it's time to say, hey, my rights are violated, you're a lawyer, do something. Oh my gosh, I'm so offended, don't offend me. Again, and my whole life has just been taken from me. Again, the people of Columbus, Ohio have absolutely just destroyed my life. A moralist, principleless, disciplinedless, nothing. There's just no fucking values in any of the community that I've been raised in. It's just true. They know how to cheer really loud at the sports games, but they don't give a flying fuck. And the hilarious thing is how inefficient it is for everybody. Like, literally just taking my specific example, if people in my community realize that, hey, I've derived all of analysis, and they were even capable of understanding what that meant, and then we just have as a community, again, all of these fucking trashy people that just play sports all day, if they actually, again, their little phrase, there's no I in team. If people actually work together. Again, the discrepancy, the thesis on Bitcoin's appreciation while the halving was paired to its price action was the most guaranteed trade that I have ever seen, that has ever been documented. And it's just like, nobody believed Brad was a real economist or a trader or something. My reputation destruction has ruined every fucking facet of my existence. And there's no way out. There's no way out of this shit, man. I work every day. I do a variety of things all day, every day. That's all I've done. It's all documented. It's all public. What do I do to be able to eat properly, sleep properly, and work? The ability to walk into a grocery store and actually be able to buy food, to be able to buy gas, to be able to live a basic quality of life. How the fuck do I get there? And the answer is you can't. I was just born into this valueless, moralist fuckhole of nothing. And so, not much more on the trading. It's just, again, because once you go under on a trade, I just sit here and do nothing. I either hold it and wait till it goes profitable, which who knows? I mean, maybe it never goes profitable. Maybe it's 18 months. I mean, this DFTX we're just looking at, again, I closed out maybe $6,000 of losses. And now, again, this would have been profitable about $7,000. So that's a swing of $13,000 because I had to close this out because it goes from down $5 to $10. It's like, okay, when I have to preserve money. And I've done this my whole fucking adult life, is trying to carve out an existence in insanity. And it's not possible. You can't live in this world. This country is just a fuckhole of nothing. Like, what do I do? Like, what do I actually do? Brad Boas was never meant to have a decent quality of life at any point in this existence. No one gives a fuck, and everyone is too stupid to realize that if you actually work together, everybody would get rich. But people don't want you to succeed. That's the whole thing, is people don't want you to do better than them. As long as they can get where they want to go in life, they slam the door shut and they tell you to go fuck yourself, nanner, nanner, boo-boo. Look at me, 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 me. Who cares if you almost die because you can't consume calories and eat naturally? Who cares if you have a learning capacity that once it gets upset and disrupted, you can't function literally? Who cares? Just call them mentally ill. Who cares? Who cares what the United States Constitution says? Just cheer for your favorite team, whether it's blue team or red team. Just cheer. Who gives a fuck about the Constitution, right? I mean, this country is the Constitution. That's what you guys talk about, right? And nationalism is bullshit. I mean, imagine being a 30-year-old man walking around with your high school Letterman jacket like, yeah, dude, I won a state championship. That's what waving a flag looks like to me. I mean, it's just abysmal shit. And so I remain here wondering, I want to have a career and a family. Is that ever fucking possible? And the answer is it's just not. And so, again, a sustained break over 900. Again, anything close to 1,000, I'm probably just going to close 2 shares, bite the bullet, stay up a little bit, and just kind of regroup. Because, again, like I said, $2,000 up closed, like realized from American Eagle, and so it's the overall dollar figures, not like, because even if you see a depreciation of a couple grand, I mean, you're still trading the move. And so, again, my emotion there is to the overall quality of my life, not to managing a trade. Because it's still, again, well within, I'm still up, with this, again, sitting at current loss, 934, again, it's still up $1,100 of profit in the short term. But it's just like you can't get the ball rolling. If without a risk tolerance, because this shit just happens. I mean, we're sitting up at 2,400% without any proprietary development. We have demand increase, sure, but it's like, again, you build a data center, you have so much regulation and consideration and what they're really going to do and all of this other stuff, and it's just like, because I have no other conviction on stuff in the market. It's not like I'm not watching other things, and then any other trade I would take at a lower conviction would just be a risk tolerance, which I don't have. Hey, this is America, man. To the people in the future, this is what actual hard work gets you. This is what going to school, being a good son, listening to your parents, not sneaking out, this is what it fucking gets you. Nepotism is the only way into this world. You can't work hard. You can't differentiate yourself. You can't even say, here is the Constitution, here is the law being violated, and then you just get on TV and Governor Mike DeWine's literally saying there, in earnest, I think I've served for all Ohioans. And it's like I have like literally documented me going to the FBI building and then the guys like literally like getting ready to draw their guns and I'm sitting there calm as day like, hey, and them saying, we know who you are, we're not going to do anything. You can go anywhere to get that published. I live in this jurisdiction. I clearly can't go anywhere. It's destroyed my entire life. And then as a real man to a bunch of little bitch boys out there, how do you call yourself law enforcement or an academic and then take another man's ability to have a family and be like, don't talk about my kids. Don't talk about my kids. Man, fuck your kids, bro. I literally don't get to have a family because you guys are trashier than shit. So again, as always, Andrew Genther is a coward, a bitch, and a criminal. Michael DeWine's a coward, a bitch, and a criminal. Donald Trump's a coward, a bitch, and a criminal. And anybody that's man enough or woman enough to watch this, every dollar on my screen to look you in the eyes and call you a fucking coward and a fucking bitch. Here is the law. What do you serve? And again, like I said, I'm not even a nationalist. Like, everybody involved in suppressing science is just killing people. And I don't get live a life to any extent. So, no real talking points. Jim Cramer says the word nerfed, which the natural like context for that is if like you're playing a video game and a weapons class is like too dominant or too powerful and it just like ruins the gameplay, you nerf it. You just make it like less dominant so you can have a fairer gameplay. So I'm not really sure what they were talking about. I just heard him say that buzzword. And then we had a quick update on in terms of more like a political thing, but the Sam Altman had 2 attacks. Somebody threw a Molotov cocktail, and it was reported as an incendiary device. And so this kind of brought the natural dichotomy of combustion versus explosion. Incendiary is more to explosive, and a Molotov cocktail is more to combustion. And so a Molotov cocktail is a combustion device. But if you want it to be distinct, people exactly know what a Molotov cocktail is, and then somebody in your newsroom's typing up news headlines, and then people, again, we're right back to words have meaning, and you have some fucking idiot that doesn't deserve a job at healthcare or family, but somehow they won the game of life, and they're allowed to have a career and a family and have income, even though they provide zero fucking value to society. and they type words on a screen, and then my intuition goes off because this is wrong. Somebody's trying to type words, and I can feel your intuition, and then you write the wrong words. Right? A Molotov cocktail is not an incendiary device. But yeah, just use, again, whatever haphazard words. Just, you did it. You're a zinger. You're just like Andrew Ross Sorkin. We just use random fucking words to try to sound smart. And then anybody that actually understands words, which is everybody, is just like, what are you saying? But so we have that going on. Again, more people that demonstrate incompetence that have jobs. So the labor market is beyond fucked. Again, I apply to jobs. I try to run a business, and invested money in people. I've done everything you could do to try to have income. This jiggling money on the screen is the only thing that maybe might make me something, and clearly it doesn't. This shit is just so bonkers. But no crying in the casino. It's just, again, the overall emotional output is just more because of my life experience is ruined. It's just fucking ruined. Again, James Ryan, Tim Doon, Ross Warner, Richard Reese. They all have professional licensures that are fraudulent. They need to go to prison for the rest of their lives. And I'm going to shout their names until people start taking responsibility for their actions. People slandered my name, defamed my character, and ruined my ability to have a career and a family. When the fuck does it stop? And the answer is never. And so that's what I have for talking points, again, as I am the victim of crime, documenting the most profound racketeering conspiracy and extortion, direct extortion by the government against the citizen for doing science. That's a fact. Any attempt to lie about history to my estate, everybody I've referenced, fuck them all, fuck everything. Any fraudulent historical statement, just throw it away. That's what I have for now. Again, I'm going to go, ride my bike for the 15th millionth time, go for the 15th millionth walk. There is nothing for me to do. Somebody please put my money in my bank account. This country is a fuckhole. Thanks for watching, and I hope you learned a lot about finance.